Well, good afternoon. Good morning. It's about 11:30, November the 11th, 2019, Remembrance Day. Uh, I watched TV this morning from Toronto, and big Remembrance Day deal there. Cenotaph, Trudeau's there. All these people were there, all parading around. And I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. I know I shouldn't have, but I do. And I know, that people want to remember the sacrifices that people have made and all that sort of stuff. But on the other hand, it bothers me as to why. Uh, I mean, I can tell, I realize World War One, World War Two were great wars, but I don't believe in the glorification of war. I think it's the stupidest thing. Wear red and walk in a straight line. I mean, how smart is that? But anyway, I guess Jesus said the greatest thing you can do is to lay your life down for your fellow man. And I have to agree with that. Jesus said it, I have to believe it. And it makes sense. It's the greatest sacrifice a human can do for other humans. So that should be respected, I guess. But what I was going to mention today is I've realized that I'm living in an age that allows me to observe the suicide of our nation and the United States and England and all these countries. And usually, most of them are in the white race countries, which is predicted, totally predicted. And everything that's predicted has happened, and everything that is predicted will happen. It's all I believe that this is all a plan created by God Almighty from the beginning to the end. Every single dot and thing that happens in the whole world with everybody at all times is all planned to the nth degree, to the very nth degree. The reason for that is it says the Lamb was slain before the foundation of the world. Well, I mean, that just tells you that God determined that Christ was going to be crucified and killed before there was even a world. It was part of the plan. So he knows the plan from beginning to end. He says that at the beginning and the end. And there's no one beside me. It's just I'm God and that's it. Jesus is God and that's it. They're all God. They're all. It's different than a human. They're a Godhead. They're parts. God is so big, he has parts. There's parts to him. I guess I must be. I don't know how else to think about it. But the suicide is absolutely happening. The secular, the pulling away, the what do you call it? Growing cold or going away from believing in God and religion and Jesus. Well, basically, religion is not the thing. Religion is all man-made stuff anyway, so that's not important. But there's people that drive God out of their mind and memory, and the reason for that is because I guess that Satan is the god of this world and can influence people to do that now. When I grew up, that wasn't a problem. People didn't think like that, never crossed their mind. There was no, the things that are happening now are so different than it was when I was a young guy. I mean, there was no thoughts of this stuff, none of this stuff. All the bad stuff that we have, all the killing and the murdering of babies and the gay and painting deals across the road and promoting LBGQTP, whatever, and all these promoting kids to try to decide if they're male or female when they don't even know their own name. How stupid is that? That's got to be satanic. There can be no other way to. And the idea of that is to destroy them early, get them destroyed early, because they will destroy themselves. And Satan is a liar and a murderer and a thief and a whatever. He's out to destroy as many of God's people as he can. You know, when you think about it, all the people that have been, all the children of the Canadian, just think of Canada, small country of Canada. How can it afford to kill its own children? Living in a big country like this. And then have a prime minister who is so twisted that he supports killing the babies and bringing in strangers and people that different, totally different people, swarming them in here. That's suicide. That is national suicide. But the thing is, you can get it. I mean, I can get it upset as I want. I won't stop it. I won't stop it because that's God's plan. It's unfolding right in front of you and right in front of me. And I kind of think it's a, if you look at it the right way, it's kind of a privilege to be able to live at this time in this world, to be able to see that and observe the thing happening before your eyes. And it is happening before your eyes. I mean, it is happening big time. The laws that they try to put in, politically correct laws, that they can do things to people if they don't stay in their way of thinking, and even if it's against what the public thinks, they got to do it anyway, because they've got the power of correctness and satanic pressure to do it. And people are like sheep. I mean, totally like sheep. You just pressure one side, they will turn the other way. Propaganda works like you wouldn't believe. It just works wonderfully. And now we've got such a way of communicating. Here I am just making this video here and putting it on YouTube that can go out to the whole planet. Now, when the heck did that happen before? Never in my life. So that's why with a media platform that produces this to every single individual gets the right to do this now, that means that good ideas can go out, but also the bad. And in most cases, people have more bad ideas than good ideas because of nature, people's nature. Well, nature, we're not good people, really. We try to be, and we think we are, but we're not. Nah, we're selfish, dirty, rotten, jealous people. Yeah, it makes me wonder. I basically have ended up now with a dysfunctional so-called family, and that makes me very worried because does that mean that my family and that I happen to have on this planet is going to be destroyed because they don't want to. They don't want to believe what God says, and they don't want to do what God says. They want to do what man says, and what as a group they think is right at the time. So does that mean death and destruction for my own family? That no sense I even had a family then? I don't know. I can only ask God to forgive them because they don't know what they're doing. And that's the only thing I can keep doing. God can do it if he chooses to do it. And if I ask him the right way. My wife is suffering really bad now with stroke and troubles, and she's plain suffering because she's basically handicapped by the stroke. Doesn't want to give up on it, and fighting it, and yet it's infected her brain, and I don't know why that should happen to her, but it has, and she is very angry and resentful, and even against those who try to help her. She doesn't want me to come to see her at all because she says I'm just going there to spy on her and look at her and make fun of her. What a stupid thing to think. So that's sad. We were married for 46 years, for goodness sake. My kids promoted the separation. She encouraged it, and they supported her, and that's what happened. I didn't want it at all. But can't do anything about that now. I just wish my kids would realize what they've done, and they dishonored me really bad. I mean, more than you can imagine, practically. And that is very bad for them because God is not impressed, or God hates that. And there's a penalty for that. In the old days, it would have been death. But, I mean, I'm not complaining about it for my reasons, but it's for theirs because they're now under the penalty of God's penalty for that. I'm not putting a penalty on them for it, and I don't think they realize it. They just don't realize that. They they want me to change to believe the modern things of gay stuff and gay people and marriage and all that stuff, and I refuse to do that. So I'm ostracized from my own family because they don't want anything to do with me. So I guess that's the way it is. It's the price you pay, but that's what it is. I have no qualms about that at all. I feel sorry for them, really do. And I kind of think it's going to show up in their life. Not going to be good. Anyway, enough of this doom and gloom. Uh, I'm toying with the idea of trying to go to Veracruz, Mexico in January. I'm trying to figure out a better way to fly there because there's so many stops. And I hate that. So I'm going to try to boil it down to see if I can figure out one stop. I'll go direct to Cancun, stay overnight, and then go to Veracruz. Otherwise, I got to go to Vancouver, Mexico City, and then Veracruz. I don't know. Makes me wonder if it's worth it. But I've already kind of booked a hotel there for 15 nights. The hotel right on the ocean. And it's not a fancy hotel or anything, it's an older hotel, but it's right on the ocean and it's pretty good. And I kind of wanted to go to see Mexico on the Caribbean side. Don't know if that's going to happen. I'm getting pretty old. I got to realize if I can handle it or not. If I think I can, I'm going to go. Yes, I don't know. I've been taking quite a few trips in this last couple of years. But that'll come to an end. I know it'll just come to a crash again, but I won't be able to do it. So anyway, I live alone. That's the only thing I do. And I'm not doing it because I love the world or anything like that. I'm going just to have a look, see how they're living. Anyway, that's enough for this. Oh my gosh, 16 minutes. Anyway, thank you very much. Goodbye.